right. Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of the forecast. We are going to go ahead and get started. It is 3:45 p.m. It is July 29th, year of our Lord 2025. We're going to take a first-hand look outside at our Skycam in Des Moines, New Mexico. This is on the far western side. It's over on the west side of Union County. You can see we've got a couple of thunderstorms trying to develop off out west of Capulan Volcano. You can see again a couple of those towers starting to billow up. But overall, the activity is outside of our DMA, but we will probably see a few storms at least get into Union County later this evening. Some of them could even get into portions of Quay County. I don't really anticipate these to get into the Texas or Oklahoma Panhandle. That's going to change though. Moving into Wednesday, we'll have a cold front, which is currently centered in the Central Plains, setting off a lot of strong to severe storms out there this evening. Likely going to see another intense round of storms up there for places like Nebraska, maybe northern Kansas. But for us, it should be a pretty quiet afternoon. Things will change though moving into Wednesday evening, and we'll get to that here in a moment. 91 degrees here in Amarillo right now, 98 in Guymon, Oklahoma, 89 in Tucumcari, 92 in Clovis. The dew points are in the 50s. So again, a little bit drier than it was yesterday, but temperatures are about average. So it's not a terrible afternoon out there. So here's our outlook for Wednesday. A lot of us are going to be under that general thunderstorm risk, but we do have the marginal outlook that's draped across the northern panhandles, really just encompasses about 6 to 8 counties. We've got most of Union County in there, the Oklahoma Panhandle, and then that northern row through the Texas Panhandle from Dallam over towards Lipscomb and Ochiltree County. That's where we've got any kind of marginal chance for some damaging wind potential for any storms on Wednesday, as well as maybe some quarter-sized hail. I don't think that's going to be our biggest issue. I do think that the flood concern is going to be our primary hazard running through the evening hours. We could see some storms capable of some 1 to 3 inches per hour rain rates. So you could pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain very quickly. And if that's in an urban area or an area with poor drainage or in a low-lying region, those are going to be prone to probably seeing some ponding or some rising water as we move into Wednesday night. So that's going to be your biggest issue running into Wednesday evening. Let's go ahead and take you through our computer model just to show you what it looks like there. So there's those storms out there on the surface trough, and again, out there near the I-25 corridor. Those should fall apart before they get across the state line tonight. By tomorrow morning, the cold front should be knocking on our doorstep and will eventually make its way through the area throughout the day. Depending on where it's at by lunchtime, probably will determine who is going to see below average temperatures and who will see above average temperatures. The southeast panhandle going to have a hot day tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the upper 90s, maybe even pushing the low 100s. The rest of us, it's a bit more conditional. Areas like Amarillo, Shamrock, Wellington, maybe not so much Wellington, but Pampa, really down I-40. If that front gets here early, we may not get to our average high of 93 degrees, which that's our current forecast is 93 for you tomorrow. So there is some boomer bust potential for that temperature in the afternoon. Areas further north probably will be in the 80s, and you can see we've got scattered thunderstorms by 6 o'clock in the evening, and those will continue on an intermittent level through the rest of Wednesday night. So this is midnight. Storms probably sub-severe, but we're still seeing some shower and thunderstorm activity. By 8 a.m., we still have some residual showers just lingering around the area, and that cloud cover might be a little pesky to get out of here. That's another thing that may keep those temperatures back on Thursday. If we don't see a whole lot of sunshine, some of us may see highs in the 70s, which is going to be a big change compared to the last few days. That would put us 15 degrees or so below normal to finish off the month of August, which will probably end a little bit cooler than normal anyway. We'll just make sure to solidify that for an extra cool day on the 31st. As we move into Friday, we'll probably still be in some of that northwest flow aloft, and we're going to talk here quickly about some of that northwest flow and maybe what to expect heading into next week as well. So here's the Weather Prediction Center's outlook for the next 3 days in regards to amounts of rain. They currently have mostly the higher amounts, the more meaningful or impactful rain totals up there in northeast New Mexico, up in the northwest Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Here in Amarillo, they have us kind of in that 0.1 to 0.5 range, which is, probably about average for a 3-day stretch. So, average to a little bit above average rainfall for some of these areas through the course of 3 to 5 days. Areas like Childers and Paducah, there's a lot more uncertainty on if the storms will persist that far south, at least through Thursday and Friday. As we head into the weekend, though, the northwest flow probably allows for some of these storms to continue. You can see that ridge of high pressure. It still just kind of stays down in Arizona moving through Saturday and then moving into Sunday. We just kind of have this, really squashed or suppressed high pressure ridge down here in the desert southwest up into northern Mexico. And so we'll have some northwest flow here. What that does is you get troughing out here in the summertime off the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. That usually leads to daily thunderstorm activity there near I-25, Pueblo, Colorado Springs, up towards Denver. So these areas will probably see, some daily thunderstorms on a scattered level. The question for us will be, do we have enough wind shear to push that round of storms into, the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles? If we have enough wind shear, then the answer would be yes. We may not cut off that chance of rain this weekend if we can continue with that northwest flow. And that's something that models have been kind of hit and miss on. They don't really have a good consensus or a full-fledged agreement on what to expect Saturday and Sunday. But some of those more aggressive models with that northwest flow do have us seeing rain chances on Saturday and even into Sunday and potentially Monday of next week. Now, after that, things could change. Here's your 7-day tracker for Amarillo, and we're going to jump over to a couple of other things real quick before we end the live too. But you can see we're at 96 Sunday, 95 Monday, and then getting really close to 100 degrees on Tuesday afternoon with that westerly wind around 10 miles per hour. So that's actually due to what the ridge does in the middle of next week. So I do want to walk you through this as well. This is the ensemble of the American model. You can see this is a valid, this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning, early in the day. You can see again, there's that squashed ridge of high pressure. And what we're looking at are height anomalies at 500 millibars. So this is halfway up in the atmosphere, but this is usually your upper level winds. The flow aloft, you can see these, these dark lines. These are what you call isobars. It's just a line of constant pressure. And so you can see how they kind of wrap down through southwest Texas. So we've got northwest flow aloft, at least through this weekend. So let's go ahead and run through this thing. As we get into early next week, you can see Monday, that ridge of high pressure starts to move a little bit closer to the Texas Panhandle. And as we get into Tuesday, it starts to strengthen a bit. And so that's going to allow for some suppression over our heads. By Tuesday and Wednesday, we're probably done with that chance for rain, at least for a short period of time. Now, as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, you can see it continues to build. And, you've got height anomalies at 597 decameters. So that's a pretty strong ridge. It's not crazy high. So I would expect our temperatures to be above average, at least through the middle and end of next week. Now, what's the problem is a lot of our mid-range models are starting to suggest that we're going to climb into the triple digits on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday as we get into that, that final end of next week, well into the month of August. The European model's got us at 102 on next Thursday. The American model has us at like 107 and 108 degrees. There's a lot of reservation that I have for that. One being that while this ridge is centered over the area, notice again the shades of orange really aren't that deep and dark. Again, if you get up here into the Canadian provinces, you can see some darker oranges starting to show up. That's just showing you that the anomalies are much higher. That ridge is a much more dominant ridge. And so you're probably going to see temperatures well above average in some of these areas up here. But you've got these lighter oranges here over us. So will we be warmer than normal? Probably. Will we get into the triple digits? That is definitely going to be a big uncertainty. I do want to show you some of our rain amounts over just the last 7 days from West Texas mesonet sites. So we'll go ahead and drag this over and just kind of show you. We've had anywhere from a half inch to a couple inches of rain just through the last 7 days, and as you look at the year-to-date rain totals, you can see we've got a lot of 15, 17, 18, 20-inch rain amounts, which some of that's getting to the annual rainfall average for the south side of the Texas Panhandle. It's a bit drier for places like Stratford and for Sunray up towards Paladora Reservoir. It's been a little bit harder to come by for that rainfall this year, but largely a good chunk of the Texas Panhandle has seen above average rainfall, especially here over the last 4 months. And it's not like it's all come at one time. We've had an inch here, inch and a half there, 2 inches here, another inch there. And it's just been real consistent. I mean, from mid April through now, we've had 2 to 4 inches of rain every month. It's just been spaced out and spread out. So there's a lot of green grass out there. There's a lot of moisture in the soils as well here in the Texas Panhandle. And so I think the uncertainty at this point is going to be, does that green grass and does that vegetation, does that moisture override some of these temperatures models are still trying to allude to? The American model has been trying to spit out triple digit heat for us for weeks now in the long term, and it's failed to materialize for the most part, specifically here in the Amarillo area, just given how much moisture and rainfall we've had. And so I do have some reservations on the triple digit threat for the middle of next week. I'm not going to take it off the table, but I do think it's something that we probably have to take with a grain of salt. We just haven't really seen that forecast materialize through the month of January or through the month of July, which again, models have been suggesting would happen for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And it just hasn't really occurred for most of us. Most have only seen, 100 degrees once, maybe twice this year. And some of us haven't even seen it yet. So I again have some major reservations on us actually getting past 100 degrees. If we do get into the triple digits, I think it's going to be pretty marginal. 101, 102. I don't really expect Amarillo to be at 108, 110 degrees next week, like a few of our outlier models are suggesting will happen. And again, it's just because of the moisture we have had already, some of that more moisture that we could get this week too. I mean, if we get another 1 to 2 inches of rain tomorrow through Saturday, then I would lean very heavily towards us not getting to 100 degrees. So that is something else that we'll have to watch running through the first week of August. That's really all I have for you guys this afternoon. Again, should be a pretty quiet day for us. Storms largely going to stay over in New Mexico, Colorado, and Kansas. Tomorrow, though, that cold front will swing through. It's probably going to come through the Amarillo area in the early afternoon hours. And so I do think that it's possible that we still have a better chance for rain here. That's why that pop's bumped up to 40%. It's not a guarantee. They will be scattered, so some are going to miss the rain. Others are going to see that 1 to 2 inches. It's not going to be for everyone. And then we'll see some additional rainfall early in the morning, at least on an isolated level. And clouds should be pretty prevalent Thursday. You can see our high there set at 80 degrees. So it's going to be kind of a cool day to finish off the month of July and a cool start to August, but that does change quick heading into next week. If we have any changes in the forecast coming later this evening, we'll jump back on later tonight to inform you guys. But otherwise, I hope you